open house,
But
starting with open anus.
but do you though? Do you know what's the process of that sequel, Brad?
I'm looking it up now.
What do you mean? He's got it saved in his phone when it's fucking coming out.
If you look up Open House 2 release date, it pops up with something from 1987.
See, told you. He's followed that shit like a hawk.
I was born in the wrong year.
Right, dude.
Yeah, no. There's like nothing on IMDb about it.
Do you guys ever watch that movie Bright on Netflix?
No.
Right?
Will
It was
Smith?
that Will Smith movie with like modern day like orcs and whatever elves and stuff like that. He was playing a cop, and he had an orc that was his partner.
Mm-hmm.
And in this movie, the minority are the orcs, and
Mm.
you know they're pretty much just depicted as anyone. Well, for the most part, black people.
Mm-hmm.
And that movie was kind of fucking dumb, but kind of good. And I think they were trying to make a sequel for it,
Mm-hmm.
but come to find out, like a few months after that first movie came out, that the writer was accused of like sexual assault or something like that. So obviously nothing came from that movie because it's been like 5 years or something since it came out.
Right?
But
Just out of curiosity, it had a 27 on Rotten Tomatoes.
what, Bright?
Yeah, 27 Rotten
Oh,
Tomatoes, 29 Metacritic, 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb. But 81% like this movie. Google
yeah. I was
users
gonna
go.
I was gonna say I feel like Will Smith movies are usually they usually have bad critic reviews.
Right.
I wouldn't know. Look up I Am Legend.
Oh, I'm sure it's fantastic.
I'm gonna say it's in the 60s.
I'm gonna say in 80s,
I
maybe
was
90s.
gonna say 73.
68,
Yeah,
68, 65.
that's like my favorite movie of Will Smith too. And then comes Independence Day, the most American of American movies out there.
And Men in Black easily for me.
I always forget about that movie.
All
Men
three
in
of them
Black
are
was
so
funny.
good. Three was really good. A lot
Yeah,
better than I thought it would end up being.
and for
Also made
people
me
that didn't
cry.
know about Josh Brolin being in the Goonies, at least that was pretty much me. Like I didn't know about Josh Brolin pretty much until that movie,
Yeah.
Right.
and then he started coming out and
Of the
being
closet.
yeah, he started being the main character for a lot of movies after that.
Yeah.
Men in Black will do that for you. I think they were supposed
Eh,
to make a no, no, they did, didn't they? The fucking Chris Hemsworth and the one chick from Thor. That was the
Yes.
Valkyrie.
International, whatever.
How did that one do? I never even watched it. I never even cared to watch it.
23
Imagine.
Rotten Tomatoes, 38 Metacritic, 5.6 IMDb,
What about
74%.
audience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this
Okay.
this is Google users, so like,
Oh, okay.
you know. Um
Imagine.
I don't know. I'd probably watch it and like it just because I like that universe. I think it's really cool.
Right.
Um, but I'm also a very casual fan of the series. Anyways,
Speaking of Chris Hemsworth, you guys ever watch that Extraction movie?
no.
That was
It was on Netflix. He was playing a, I think it was a mercenary. Um, and he was hired for something. I forgot what the main story was. I just remember it was this Indian kid that was
Oh
son of like
yeah.
a rich, really rich guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that because it was like he was some kind of special operator that was retired or something,
yeah,
and they brought him out because of some like it was like an important drug lord or some shit like that. His kid was like in trouble or some
Yeah.
I was kidnapped.
But like in the middle of that, it was him and the bodyguard both trying to get to the kid, not knowing that they were both on the same side.
Hmm.
That movie actually had some good action in it. The
Yeah, it
story
was a
was
decent movie.
the story was complete garbage, but the action was where it was at.
Wait,
Um,
you watch movies for any other reason other than the action?
Absolutely not. That's my favorite. It's my favorite genre of movies is action. I will stay for the
The
pew
shitty
pews and
storytelling.
the crazy explosions. I will not care about the storyline. Just like
Well, that's
Expendables, the greatest movie in
but
the world.
that's literally like explanation of how I feel about
Your mother.
Fast and Furious.
No. Well,
To an
okay,
extent.
like
To an
all
extent.
of them, or like
I don't give a fuck about the story for any of them. I
After
just like seeing cars blow things up and you know
after the seventh one, that's when I'm just like, because you can see it in the trailers. I'm just gonna see it for the ridiculous action that they do now.
hmm.
I mean, not to say that the ones before didn't have ridiculous, but it wasn't as ridiculous as these newer ones.
Right.
And now instead of just finishing off with the 10th one, they're gonna make the 10th one into 2 parts. But oh,
yeah.
weren't you the one that told us that what's his name? Jason Momoa was gonna be the villain in that movie,
Sure.
the Fast and the Furious.
Like the new one.
Yeah, like the 10th one. I think I saw some. I could have swore one of you guys told me that, but shit, I'm all
Jason
for it.
Momoa in talks to star in villain dot dot dot. Yeah, this was a article back in January 28th, saying that he is in talks with them. I don't know if it's confirmed yet. 1 week ago,
Well,
Jason Momoa is officially the Fast and Furious 10 villain.
whenever there's, I mean, when has it been wrong when a rumor says they are in talks?
Hmm.
All the time. Supposedly, Daniel Radcliffe was in talks. This just actually came out recently. Daniel Radcliffe is in talks with Marvel about being Wolverine. But Daniel Radcliffe actually came out and said, "Why would they go from
Harry Potter.
huge jacked man to me?" You know, and he was like, "But Disney proved me wrong." Were his words. So, but the
Oh,
reason why people think Daniel Radcliffe is because he's short.
and Harry.
Short and hairy. Yeah. That's what Wolverine is. He's short and hairy.
Did you guys ever? He's also Canadian. Did you ever see the like someone was pitching a movie? He's like, I want a movie where Daniel Radcliffe is the bad guy, and not just Daniel Radcliffe playing the bad guy. The bad guy is Daniel Radcliffe, and it's played. I can't remember who, but he's played by someone else, and then that person is also in the movie, played by Daniel Radcliffe.
Elijah Wood.
Elijah
That
Wood. That's who it was.
that sounds like something that Seth Rogen and James Franco would star in or make.
Or make.
Yeah. Did you guys know
Yeah.
that Seth Rogen was the uh, front runner to main director at first to make the Uncharted movie?
Oh,
No.
really? I didn't know that.
Could you imagine if they actually stuck with him? Fuck. Just throw
Billy,
in his laugh every now and then.
did you ever watch the Van Wilder movies? It's
They sound
starring Ryan
familiar.
Reynolds. Starring Ryan Reynolds. These came out like mid 2000s. Basically, he was like a big frat boy that stayed at college for not frat boy, but big popular guy that stayed at college for like 10 years or some shit and just lived up his life.
I want to
Um,
say I've seen at least one, because that
so
that plot
that
line sounds familiar.
so I don't know if this came out recently or what, but I saw Bert Kreischer talking about it. That story is about Bert Kreischer, his life, his
No
college
way.
life.
Really?
It's about Bert and like he was like discovered or whatever, and he was like this big thing back then, and like he got a bunch of interviews, all this stuff, and then they sold the rights to his name or whatever to make a movie on it, and he hasn't watched it, and he refuses to watch it unless Ryan Reynolds sits down with him and watches.
That's awesome.
That
Yeah.
is awesome.
I feel like Ryan Reynolds was just in one of them though, wasn't he? And then like it was someone different each time, kind of like how they did American Pie movies after the first three.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. That was the first one.
But
Yeah, no, if you Kreischer was somewhat out of control as a student during his 6-year undergraduate run at FSU. Rolling Stone named Kreischer the top partier at the #1 party school in the nation.
Damn.
The Rolling Stone story inspired the 2002 film National Lampoon's Van Wilder. I didn't know that was the National Lampoon's. What the
that
fuck?
makes me want to watch it though, because I never watched those movies. But
I mean, it's a dumb romantic comedy. Like it's a comedy, and then he ends up like
well, yeah, it's
finding
just
a
like all
girl
those old raunchy comedies that used to be made in the early 2000s.
on Comedy Central that just played all of them, and they all had the same plot line. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean they're okay. I like Bert Kreischer a lot. He's a funny dude, and I'm glad that I know that now.
Dude's hilarious. You ever catch clips with him and Tom Segura? They made a new podcast. I think it's a podcast.
Yeah, it's a podcast.
It's like
It's
Two
not.
Bears, One Cave, something like that.
Yeah, it's not new, but they're both really funny. I used to listen to Your Mom's House, which was Tom Segura with I think his wife.
Yeah.
That was really funny. But yeah, him and Bert are really funny. I think the biggest or like the most popular clip of them is Bert drinking a gallon of Kool-Aid, and I forget like Tom mentions something and about like drinking like maybe coffee or alcohol or whatever it was, and then Bert's like, I got Kool-Aid, and he's sipping on his Kool-Aid, and he's like, and Tom's like, is that really Kool-Aid? And he's like, it's so good. He's like, I drink one of these a day, man.
Joe Rogan used to have these awesome episodes where it was those three. So Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer, Joe Rogan. I feel like there's a fourth one there.
Ari,
There we go.
and then Ari fucked it up.
Aside from Sober October, yeah, those fucking episodes were hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he definitely did fuck up that last time they did it together.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I think they're still friends.
I think they are. So Billy, Ari Shafir, they do this thing called Sober October every year. It's the four of them, Tom or everyone you just said. They do Sober October, and one year Ari decided to drug Bert Kreischer at his own house
Yeah, spiking his drink.
in front of his kids. He spiked his drink
Oh
with like Molly or some
God.
shit,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of they had a bit of a falling out. I think they're still friends, but I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was like after that, because that is fucked up.
Yeah.
That-
I think that was the time. Now I don't know if he still has his own podcast, but Bert Kreischer had his own podcast, and that's when he had Ari over at the house to do the podcast episode. So he was just talking about how he was freaking out that entire time. And like while he's explaining this shit in the episode for Joe Rogan, I think he actually started like sobbing a bit because he was just like freaking out. He was like, I can't believe you did this. Like, like he was just, this is probably like the most freaked out I've seen Bert Kreischer. I don't really see him much to begin with or listen to him. But yeah, he had a bad trip from that just because of the nerves and all that, and you don't really expect that from your own friend to just like spike your own drink.
Yep.
But
Bert had his 500th episode of his podcast back in January. It
Oh,
was
nice.
Jim Gaffigan was his guest.
Nice.
He's up to 507 right now. Uploaded
Okay.
6 days ago.
See, I can't really watch all those guys or listen to all those guys. Like I feel, at least for me, I just really enjoy them when they're all together for that one episode every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
I like my TikTok clips.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the streamer awards were yesterday or 2 days ago or something like that.
Really?
Shroud won streamer of the year and wasn't there. So, what's his girlfriend's name? Banana, Hannah Banana,
Yeah. Binans.
don't
Binance.
know.
She went up and accepted it with It's Timmy together, and she went up, accepted, and was like, "Yeah, Shroud can't be here. He's grinding his dailies on Lost Ark." So,
Oh shit.
I guess it's very very fitting he can't be here because he's grinding.
That's hilarious. Okay, but what qualifies someone to become streamer of the year?
Growth, popularity, um, but I think it's a public vote though.
I
Is
say
it?
I think
Like,
his was probably popularity. I find it hard to believe that he's still growing.
well, I think all of it. No, he's still growing. I think all of it is it was a vote, because somebody else I know won. Oh, Critical won. What's it called when you stream like multiple variety streamer? He won variety streamer of the year.
Speaking
Um,
of critical, did you see his clip of him playing Elden Ring while there's a wasp in his room?
no, I didn't.
Dude was he was in the middle. I think it was in the middle of a boss fight too, and then like
Mhm.
he just screams and he's just like, oh, there's a fucking wasp. So he just like stands up, tries to finish the boss. Once he finishes the boss, he runs out of his room.
That's great.
And then the clip just like, fast forwards to the part where he's showing us the wasp that he killed. But
Mhm. Oh, I got it. I got the Shroud part wrong. He must have been like first person shooter. So our gamer of the year was Shroud.
okay,
Streamer of the year was Ludwig.
okay,
Uh, runner ups were Saikuno, Mizkif, and XQC. Gamer of the year was Shroud. It was between him, Asu, It's Timmy. I only know those three, and then there's Tens. I don't know who Tens is.
I don't know tens either. I don't even know the three that were the runner ups or whatever for
You don't
streamer of the
know.
year.
You don't know
I mean,
Saikuno,
I
Mizkif,
know them.
XQC?
I don't watch them. I mean, sorry.
Okay.
Say,
Yeah,
if you don't
I was
know
gonna
who
say
I've
you'd
heard-
at
I've
least
heard-
is,
you'd
I've
at least
heard
hear
of
those
them.
names.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've heard of them.
yeah. I don't watch any of them. Ludwig is hilarious. Um, but he teased, so last year, um, he did a subathon, which for every sub he extended his stream by like a minute or something like that, and he ended up streaming for over 30 days straight, where he never turned his stream off or anything, and it got to the point where he was banning people temporarily for donating, or for gifting subs,
Oh
so
shit!
he could eventually like stop.
let's
Um,
see. How long was that? Did you say it was 30 days?
the illustrious 31-day extravaganza that was his subathon.
Damn.
So it's
He also
funny. Go
he
ahead.
also talked about doing it a second time.
So it's funny that you brought up subathon. I was watching someone, and it looks like she's not on right now. She was doing the same thing. Um, she's a VTuber, and she was doing the same thing where she did a subathon at the same time as Iron Mouse did, and it just happened to be during tax return season. So
He did his taxes while he's
people are
streaming.
doing their taxes and they're
That's
donating.
amazing.
She went on for last I saw was like 40 or 41 days, and she had to cut the time, I think, because she started at like 30 seconds for gifts, bits, and subs, and she had to cut it down to like 20 or 25 or something. and then she cut it down again to 20 because she got corona and was sick.
God
And
damn.
every time she cut it down, obviously, like it took time off the timer as well. But yeah, she went like 42 days, 41
It
days, or
wasn't.
something like that
It wasn't that super
straight.
famous one, right? The one that does the
Uh,
interviews with other streamers. What's her fucking name?
are
Something
you? I
Miko.
mean, Iron Mouse did it, but not
No, the girl.
that. Well, that was the other one who did it. No, this was her name's Shy Lily.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um, she's an orca. So
In Orca.
an orca, yeah.
Billy, when are you
balls.
gonna start VTubing?
When I get the balls to create an avatar and take old biddies.
Just do it, and then just every week switch out the face between all three of us.
So,
It's nice, though.
just to add on to the Ludwig subathon thing, he did sleep during it. He put on, like, every time he would go to bed, he made it so like whoever subs could like put a video or something, and it
That's
just
pretty
played
cool.
videos as they went. But it turns out, like, I mean, he made a lot of money, but he didn't actually make that much money because he had a moderating team working at 24/7 with him. So
Mhm.
he had to pay all of them to stay
Yep.
up with him 24/7.
Damn. For a whole month,
Dude's a maniac though. That's entertainment right there.
right? Whenever they do
Wish I could
something
do a
different
freaking-
like that.
Also, I'm pretty sure he has a girlfriend. So like, imagine being the girlfriend and just not being able to spend quality time with him for over a
For
month.
a whole month.
Jeez.
Shit. I mean, I don't know. She could probably be in the chat.
She could get on stream, but it's like no alone time. You know, they can't
Yeah.
fuck like
Right.
Yeah.
because he had the camera on him the entire time until he went to the bathroom or something.
Right.
Oh, I could have gotten a quickie in the meantime.
Z, did you see? I think it's Big E.
Oh, he broke
Yeah,
his
did
neck?
you see Big E? He broke his neck. Yeah, did you see the video?
No, I didn't, but it looked brutal just from the picture that I saw.
Yeah, so
Christ.
I forgot who it was, but tossed him over his head, and landed him on the back of his neck, and he broke his neck.
Yeah, Scottish dude. I forgot his name too, but he was pretty big in the last year. He was one of the main guys. I forgot his name too, but yeah, that's fucking nuts, dude. I mean, when's the last time there was a really bad injury like that?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, was it Sheamus?
What? No, it wasn't Sheamus. No, it was a different guy. He had
Big E and Kofi Kingston versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland.
Oh, okay. So it was Sheamus. Because the picture that I saw, it looked like this different. I don't know. I'd have to look him up. But it looked like it was someone else. Drew McIntyre. There we go. That's the one that I was thinking of.
Gotcha.
But fuck, man.
Yeah, I
That is
saw
no bueno.
an interview, or not an interview, but a TikTok with him first, and then I was curious, so I looked at it, and then yeah, just a suplex over the guy's back, like over the head, over the back, and he just lands with his like head towards his, or his chin towards his chest, and
Right.
that's that's probably career ending. That's a bad one.
Yeah.
So I'm looking up right now the 10 worst wrestling injuries that shouldn't have happened. I mean,
I
obviously,
guess
none of
Mick
those
Foley
happened.
is up there.
Surprisingly, Steve Austin is not in the top 5.
Yeah.
He's part of that top 10, just not the top 5. Top
Oh,
5
who's,
starts with Hardcore Holly. I don't know if you remember that.
That number one's got to be what's his face, the dude who died in
Number
Ring.
4 is Sabu with a broken neck as well. Sting with a back injury. This was actually when he came back a few years ago. Seth Rollins ended up doing this what's it called? Kind of like a cross power bomb where like he's holding onto his arms while he, like, the guy, like, they're touching back to back. So he's lifting him up like this, and he throws him at the turnbuckle.
Jesus Christ.
British Bulldog, back injury number 2. Number 1. You're never going to guess. Joey Mercury shatters his nose.
Huh.
What?
I think I've seen the clip. I've seen like the blood everywhere.
In Armageddon, a ladder spot was set
Oh.
up for Mercury. I remember this one, yep.
He gashed his nose.
He was supposed
was-
to catch a ladder. He missed.
Yep.
The ladder hit him in the face, and it looked like his face exploded.
Mm-hmm.
It was only a broken nose, but yeah,
That I remember seeing that. That's brutal.
that's fucking nuts.
Just imagine.
Yeah.
Z, did you see the TikTok I sent you yesterday or the day before with Big Show and Mark Henry and all them
Yeah.
talking?
Yeah, I used to, back when I had WWE Network, I used to actually watch those. Those were pretty fun
Mhm.
because they were like, I think it was 15 to 30 minutes, and they would
Yeah.
do like an episode like once every week or every other week with 3 different superstars. And they would just talk about their experiences at that table. But yeah,
I just like how Big Show's just like, yeah, I remember all the people who have been able to pick me up, and I remember all of their attitudes when they did it. Like John Cena will parade you around for a whole minute, and then finally put you down. And he was like, the first time I remember being picked up, it was by, I think he said by Kane, and Kane picked him up. He's like, put me down, put me down, put me down. You can tell, like, a guy, almost 7 feet tall, 400, 500 pounds, does not like being picked up.
Yeah, you don't realize how massive these wrestlers are until you see them with like regular people. Like
Mhm.
even the smaller wrestlers. So, Billy, I don't know if you know about this wrestler Cody Rhodes.
Nope.
He's a big dude.
He's Dustin Rhodes' son. Also, he's the brother of Goldust. I don't know if you remember that wrestler.
Nope.
But so you look at Cody Rhodes. Dude looks like one of the smaller wrestlers out there. I mean, he's tall. He's like 6 something, but he does not look like as big as, Undertaker, Batista, or John Cena.
Mhm.
And I remember watching this was when Arrow, the show Arrow, was like up there, like just the most popular show at the time. And Stephen Amell was at ringside, and he had this he ended up having like this celebrity rivalry with him after a while. And you see Stephen Amell, if you saw him in Arrow, dude looked huge. Like
Mhm.
he was ripped, he had fucking a lot of muscle on him. And then you see him jump in the ring, take his shirt off, and he looks like a normal dude right next to Cody Rhodes. You're just like, holy shit, man. Just imagine him next to someone like John Cena.
Right.
Stephen Amell's 6'1".
Yeah. That'll put things into even more perspective.
Cody Rhodes is 6'1".
Jesus.
and he looked bigger than him too. But
Camera angles.
yeah. No, man, the only two bad injuries that come to mind growing up was Lita's neck after she like dove through the ropes going at Trish Stratus, and then she landed wrong on her neck, like against the little wall that divides the audience and them, and then she landed even worse on the ground.
Right.
I remember that being pretty bad on her. And then
Wasn't McMahon, wasn't that in our lifetime? Or at least our time watching?
McMahon.
He angrily walked out to the ring, and as he tried to get in, his quad basically exploded.
Oh yeah.
And then
Yeah,
and
both
then
of
I
his
think
quads.
and then he hurt his other quad after, right? Like I think the
Yeah.
right one popped, and then he went down, and the left one popped. Like
that
both
was
of his
like
legs.
I think that was
ruptured.
2005 because it was It was the most ridiculous situation ever. So it was in the Royal Rumble, and it was between Batista and John Cena. And Batista was originally supposed to win that, but they both ended up throwing themselves out, and the camera caught both of their feet at exactly the same time hitting the ground.
Simultaneously.
Yeah.
Like
So
there was no difference in between. They
yeah.
hit it at the same time.
So
So both were eliminated.
a ref from both Raw and SmackDown came out, and they were just like, "No, this guy's the winner. No, this guy's the winner." And then Vince McMahon comes out like mad as fuck. You just see him storming down the ramp, and he runs and tries to slide into the ring. As he does that, both of his quads hit the edge of that ring, and he just, they're just done after that. He tries to stand up.
He ruptured both of them.
He tries to stand up and instantly falls down. So he's just not even, because he's so mad, he doesn't even give a fuck about it. He's just sitting down and just ordering them to restart that match.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was some ridiculous shit too.
Oh my god.
Fuck, man. I completely forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Ugh.
They were all fake injuries, but the plot line I liked is when Randy Orton head kicked all of the McMahons,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
including Stephanie, I think.
Probably. I'm not sure. The one. So we were like, I want to say we were like 4. No, we were older. We were probably like 7 years old. And this is when Kurt Angle became general manager of SmackDown. And he ended up having the Big Show fight against someone or whatever. And then Big Show just got really mad because he lost. So he's just going on a rampage in the back. And by the end of the episode, for some odd reason, they're on top of a balcony in the middle of the stadium. And you just see Kurt Angle trying to calm down Big Show. Big Show just choke slams Angle. You don't see like how he lands, obviously, but it cuts to him after he landed. You just see his leg looks like it's broken, and then there's blood coming out the back of his head. Me being at that age, I'm like, wait, did they just kill him? like what the fuck is going on, dude? And then the following week comes out, and like he's just he just got a broken leg, and that's it. I was
Can we
like,
talk about how hardcore Kurt Angle is, though? The dude won an Olympic gold medal with a fractured or a broken collarbone.
with a broken frickin' neck.
Like, dude, like Olympic.
Yeah,
Dude, that dude's
gold
insane.
medal. Yep.
I fucking hated him on TNA, especially because he was just like, I'm a Olympic gold medalist. Like that was his only fucking thing.
Yeah.
And I remember like AJ Styles like stole his Olympic gold medal at one point, and it just
AJ
became,
Styles
like, a huge
stole
thing.
his wife.
Did yeah.
Everything.
And then turns out they actually did end up getting a divorce or something like that. But
Well, that was the same thing with like Matt Hardy's wife or something, right?
yeah, they turned it into a real thing. But that was more natural though.
Yeah.
Like
True. I mean, TNA had the worst plot lines. So
yeah, I wouldn't know. I never got a chance to watch it consistently. No, Kurt Angle was a fucking beast before he went to TNA though. Like he had this one run where they ended up giving him the nickname the Wrestling Machine, and dude was just like taking people out left and right. But
right.
yeah, there's I could go on because growing up with wrestling was cool as fuck. But
So I would like to talk about Elden Ring.
No, what'd you know?
But not about my enjoyment with Elden Ring, but Billy's enjoyment with Elden Ring. I am the Dark Souls guy. I have played all the the Soulsborne Kiro games. I have played all of them. I love all of them. They're great. Billy has picked up Elden Ring for the first time and has over 100 hours in it already.
96 hours. All right.
103 on Steam.
Okay.
103 hours. I just checked before I looked.
On because I showed it when I ended the stream today. It said 96 hours of playtime,
I've played
and
Yeah.
that's
that.
also including
So
me
you have like
leaving it on after lunch.
You have like 8 or 7 hours of just
Of
being
menu time,
Yeah,
or lunch time, whatever it count for Steve.
So Billy, what are your thoughts on Elden Ring now that you've beaten it
I mean,
almost twice?
I mean, almost twice. This fucking sorcery build's a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. Um, I mean, it's definitely fun. I'm having less fun with the sorcery build than I was with the double katanas.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like that's the
I
most
don't
popular thing to go with. Like
the sorcery or dual
the
katanas.
dual katanas.
Katanas,
I just
yeah,
see so much
I've
of
seen a
that.
lot of
Like
people.
whenever it pops up for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with this one, a lot of people have fallen into the same thing I did, where the other Dark Souls games, I always go for the big swords. You know, like the big weapons that require a lot of strength. I think everyone went for those.
A
So
lot
I
of
think a
people
lot
did.
of I think a lot of people went, oh, I kind of want to switch it up a little bit, and then they started going with the Dex weapons. Turns out the Dex
Mm-hmm.
weapons are good in this fucking game. Um,
Yeah.
so the katana specifically, they have a passive um,
Bleed.
bleed effect, which means that when you're attacking enemies, if you attack them enough times, the bleed bar invisibly the bleed bar builds up, and then it'll do a percentage of their health damage. Which is huge. Like the fact that it's a percentage is huge because there are some
Mm-hmm.
enemies where they're tough to get through their skin, but then you see that bleed and it'll take out like a quarter of their bar. It's insane. Um, but yeah, I'm going with the dual katana build. Candy started doing the katana build, and then he saw me doing dual katanas, and then you saw us doing dual katanas, and then Gio was like, "Oh, I like the samurai," so now he's doing katanas.
Well, so when I first saw the things about like everything I've seen about Elden Ring was someone in a, in a samurai suit doing whatever they were doing. And I was like, that is so cool. Like I love the look of the Reed's samurai armor, or the Land of Reed's armor, I guess it's called in the game. I was like, it just looks so cool. I love it. Plus having either one or two katanas, like that's cool. Or a longbow, because originally I wanted to do one katana and then like the longbow. Um, that way I had a little bit of range, but the bow just, I don't know, maybe it's because of my build. I didn't have much damage with them. I was hitting for like
No, so
83 damage with the bows.
bows are not supposed to be a primary weapon at all. They're supposed to be just to uh pick apart mobs and have them,
Mm-hmm.
like, if you have three enemies, you shoot one of them, that way you can start picking them off one by one. That's all the bow is for. You can kill bosses with the
Mm-hmm.
bow, but it takes a lot. It's and you're much better off doing anything else.
Right.
And that's, yeah, that's what the bow, even like the great bows are okay, but they're not boss killers.
Yeah, which I mean, I was a little, I don't know, I was a little upset with it, but once I went over to dual katanas, anyways, like nothing was more satisfying than seeing a bunch of like when you're hitting them, right? You're just slashing, slashing, and then all of a sudden blood just splurts everywhere because you procced that bleed, and then you just see their health chunk, and it's a very satisfying feeling, and
Yeah.
it's like I said, it's more fun than the sorcery build that I'm using now, which I don't know. I guess another thing too, like I was disappointed with the move that everyone was like, "Oh, this is so powerful," because you just stand there and you instantly blast it, and it kills bosses. I'm running 70 over 70 intelligence, and I don't know, like it's just either not hitting because you can't move it, it's static at that spot, or I run out of FP before I can kill the boss. So
Sounds like you have to level up mind, but yeah,
yeah.
it's not like the best thing ever. Like people play it up and they use it on really easy bosses,
Mm-hmm.
and but you also have to think, like, you're not running, like, they probably drank like a specific psychic beforehand.
Right.
Um they probably have the different talismans on, different things
Mm-hmm.
to buff magic before they do that fight. But
Yeah.
So, I wanted to bring this up. Billy, did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
Nope. Never saw it. Well, I saw one episode, and it's because the team I work on went on a retreat to Tennessee, and they made me watch an episode with them.
Okay, but you know the hype behind throwing in
Hmm.
George R. R. Martin's name into it, right?
Yep. Hmm.
And like I asked Brad about this just because I'm like, do you think it made a difference, like just having him there as a writer?
Um, I
I
don't
mean,
know. I mean, I
you
never played any of the Souls games, so like this is my first one. It didn't feel any different than, I don't know, any other game that I've played before.
So I think that we're missing a lot of lore just from this is Dark Souls thing in general. All of the lore is within item descriptions.
Hmm.
Every item has a description and they all link together. So when you kill a boss, you read the item description of their weapon, of their power, of their armor, whatever you get. You read that description, or even their soul, whatever the runes that you get from them. Um, you read that description and you start to piece things together. That's just how Dark Souls is in general. This gives you a little bit more direct story. The direct story is very generic, from what I understand. Um, you're basically becoming like the lord of the land, kind of, in a sense. Um, but there's no. It's not like there's gonna be like a giant plot, crazy plot twist. You know, like there might be a twist that I
well,
don't
because
know of.
I'm looking at an article right now about this where Martin talks in his personal blog his thoughts surrounding Miyazaki's initial pitch. According to Martin, Miyazaki asked him to only build the then upcoming game's backstory and history. In other words, he just
Oh,
wanted the foundation created by George R. R.
yeah.
Martin. But then
So he
this
created the basis of the world.
right, and this goes on, and in the process of this, uh, let's see. Given Miyazaki's respect for Martin, you might assume he would try to preserve Martin's ideas as much as possible, but it sounds like he couldn't be further from the truth. 1 month before Elden Ring was released, Miyazaki spoke with Game Informer and claimed that he had a lot of fun turning all the heroes that Martin created and, quote, breaking them in order to turn them into mishap and grotesque monsters. So, he's like, I
Well,
think
because
Martin might be a bit shocked, states Miyazaki. So that raises the question, why bother involving him in the first place? And you know,
Uh, I mean, the
well,
only character I can think of right now where I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like Godric. Like Godric, he probably had him as like this glorious knight or something or whatever. But
hmm
in the game, he got like obsessed with power and obsessed with dragons and all this shit. Turned into this dude who chopped off his own arm to shove it up a dragon's head and use his head as a flamethrower.
hmm
okay.
That's the thing. So you're fighting the boss, right? He has
hmm
he has like he has like 6 or 8 arms or some shit. You're fighting him, and he has an axe in one hand, right? And you're fighting him, and halfway through his health bar, it cuts to a cutscene of him smashing his own hand on the axe and cutting it off. Goes up to the dragon, and then there's like a dead dragon just chilling next to him. Puts his hand into the dragon's neck, rips it off, and then he's able to use the dragon as an attack.
hmm
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Um, yeah, I mean, I feel like Miyazaki, just from the sounds of that article, Miyazaki was like, "Yeah, no, I'm gonna give liberties to someone else. Let them come up with some of it." And then George R. R. Martin go, "Let me come up with this generic ass story." And then Miyazaki go, "I can still make it better. I'm gonna take some liberties." You know,
Right. Yeah. I
like
mean,
Well,
I
because
mean, like
it,
okay,
it definitely did seem like, though, that, the name was there just for the selling point at the very
yeah.
least.
I mean, like look at Game of Thrones though. Like it is mostly a generic, like at least from the show, it is mostly a generic story,
hmm
right? You got multiple kingdoms. There's betrayals. People die. That's the big thing that people liked about Game of Thrones is characters died. Main characters were getting killed off because you never knew what was going to happen. Because you have Ned Stark. Spoiler alert: Ned Stark is like quote unquote main character, dies first season, right? And then you have Robb Stark, the leader of the opposing army, dies next season. Um, I mean, like those were the big twists, and there were a couple things where it's like, oh yeah, this guy's actually from this bloodline. And it's like, in the grand scheme of it, I've seen movies with those exact plot lines, just different movies. This guy kind of
Right,
combined them.
just told worse or better.
Yeah, so like, I will praise George R. R. Martin. Like it's good. I loved it up till season 6. You know,
Mhm.
I ate into it, but like from a grand point of view,
Right.
you know, okay. But also from that, we're kind of in an era right now where it's kind of hard to come up with something new too, and that's where movies and video games are going to be struggling for a while. Is like, how do you come up with something brand fucking new?
Well,
You're not.
this is a good thing though. I mean, not exactly a good thing, but in terms of all the movies that are coming out that are originally books or graphic novels, whereas, in the beginning, like, I wouldn't say the beginning, but like 20 years ago when they tried doing that, they would always butcher the storyline and try to put their own spin on things, and it just obviously wouldn't work out. But now
Well,
all these people are actually like that are huge fans of the books are going out of their way to make sure that there are even certain lines that are being quoted from the book into movies. Like, it's not just Lord of the Rings now that you can look back to that are completely following the whole storyline, you know?
Mhm.
well, to take Marvel for example, I'm a fan of Iron Man 1, Thor 1. Like I like all of those, but those weren't like direct from the comics type thing. Like maybe some bits. I don't know for sure, but like that though, like those weren't direct from the comics stuff. Like that was Marvel trying to create like their own universe, whatever they did. But now they're actually taking more from the comics than they were before, and
Mhm.
everyone's loving it because it's like, oh, that's some comic book shit. Like people love
Right.
that, and it's because it's original.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can twist and turn from a storyline that was created years ago and actually make it good before you actually have to use all the source material, or if not
Right.
most of it.
Right.
So, I mean, that's why I'm actually liking this whole, I don't know, writer's block of movies and stuff, because you're getting that now from books that you didn't get years ago.
Yeah, yeah. It
Right.
And I understand like people make things that like take inspiration from other things and they try to twist it, but that doesn't always
Yeah. Like,
pan out
actually,
well.
one of the first books that I completely read in high school was what was that fucking book? Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
There's a book.
Yeah. Yeah. So this
Series.
this the author for that book also made what the fuck was it called? Something Love Prejudice or something like that.
Oh, Pride
Pride
and
and Prejudice of
Prejudice.
Zombies.
Yes, Zombies
Yeah.
was the one that author ended up making, because it was trying to take from the actual story, but then throw in a fantasy based type of story into it.
Hmm.
And in the book of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, dude was a beast. Like, it was Abraham Lincoln, his thing was that everyone from being a kid would know about was him chopping wood.
Hmm.
And so this story made him a beast with the axe. And like, they did not do that once in the movie, and that's the only thing that really pissed me off. I'm like, whatever, man. You could make your own fucking story on there, but don't make him a fucking bitch in every single fight that he's in. Like, that yeah, that movie really pissed me off, and at that point, that's when I understood. I'm like, oh, now I understand when people are just like, it didn't follow the fucking book.
He was really into vampires, the author. He had Unholy Night, which I think is might have something to do with vampires, and then The Last American Vampire,
I was into
and then
vampires as well.
Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, How to Survive a Horror Movie, The Big Book of Porn, The Spider-Man Handbook, something just called Abraham Lincoln, and then Pardon by President, fold and mail apologies for 8 years of George W. Bush. Go from vampires to talking about George Bush. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, did you know George Bush was a vampire hunter too? It's
Yeah.
actually part of becoming the presidency.
Was he?
I forgot all about this, but this was on my recommended. Apparently, they're coming out with the Beetlejuice 2.
Yeah,
What?
that was I
Brad
remember reading about
Brad
that.
Pitt's production company is running it.
I remember reading about that last year. Speaking of Brad Pitt, I don't mean to sidetrack, but the did you guys ever watch World War Z?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you guys like it?
It was all right.
I think for the
It's a
most part
zombie
that
movie.
movie was pretty well received from audiences at least.
Mhm.
66, 63, 7 out of 10.
My
But-
favorite part of it was when South Park made their own little interpretation of it.
I mean, isn't that like the best part about anything? Is South Park coming
South
out with
Park,
a parody
yeah.
of it?
If not The Simpsons and South Park.
Now, The Simpsons will predict it.
No, they didn't predict the Super Bowl this year.
Oh, that's right, Brad.
They never said it was 2022, though.
You
Could be next year. They could be the same two teams.
never know.
Oh man,
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Hometown.
But yeah, that World War Z movie, for the longest time, it's just been in production hell.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
they were supposed to make a sequel years ago, but obviously that never happened.
Right.
And it's just
Didn't
one
they
of
come
those
out with like
movies.
2 games too for that?
One game.
Well, there's
and then an updated.
one.
The updated version
guess
is
it is 2
just
games.
first-person version of it.
Mm.
Well, I heard it added more, but I guess you consider it a game.
But yeah, man. I mean, I would have really liked to have seen it,
Right.
but here we are, waiting.
Always waiting.
What are they gonna call it? Just World War Z2? Did you guys
War-
know that it was supposed to be Dragon Ball 2? And
World
because of his handwriting, people thought it was Dragon Ball Z, so it became Dragon Ball Z.
Amazing.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I can believe it.
So there's. This can't be right. Oh, that we're stuck. Okay. So I was trying to look for movies that are currently stuck in production hell, but I ended up jumping onto one that were stuck in it before they came out. Deadpool was one of them. I remember that one specifically.
Deadpool was stuck in production hell?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it had to have been because they're probably pushing for so long for it to be rated R, and like everyone was like, "No, we gotta make it PG-13 for sales and blah blah blah."
That was probably one of the big issues. But yeah, once people saw Ryan Reynolds playing him in that Wolverine movie, everyone was just like, "Fuck yeah, he's kind of like the perfect Deadpool."
He doesn't shut up.
exactly. But that was one of them. Apparently, Mad Max Fury Road was as well.
Interesting.
Director George Miller had the idea of Fury Road back in '99. It was set to shoot in 2001. 2 years later, Miller was given the green light to film in Australia in 2003, but one of the planned locations was ruined by rainfall. The movie just kept getting a bunch of delays. Mortal Kombat, Sonic the Hedgehog, Uncharted.
Sonic
I
the
remember
Hedgehog
that one. Yeah.
was less than optimal from what I've heard. Expectations were a little high for that movie, and it did not pan out.
Really?
In similar vein, Detective Pikachu, which I put on like the same plane as like Sonic the Hedgehog when I think about it, was fucking great. They killed it with Detective Pikachu.
I still
Yeah.
haven't seen
Oh,
that one.
absolutely. You haven't?
No, I have not.
I
Should.
loved it. It was fun.
Yeah,
It's
I
a fun
want to.
movie.
I just haven't gotten around to watching it. I think everyone knows about the Avatar sequels. There's supposed to be, what, 4 sequels or some shit like that?
Well,
God.
wasn't I'm pretty sure the original Avatar,
Yeah, 3 sequels.
the original Avatar was in production for something ridiculous like 16 years.
Mm,
Because what's
I
his
don't know.
face? That's James Cameron,
'Cause I
right?
know,
James
yeah,
Cameron.
because I know James Cameron originally he wanted to make Alita Battle Angel. Forgot when, but he felt like the CGI wasn't up to par at that time.
Yeah.
So he ended up making Avatar, and as you can see, Avatar did fucking amazing. But
It took
that was
15 years.
yeah, Jesus. But for the sequels, one of his stipulations to I think it was Fox, yeah, Fox, was that he gets to make Alita Battle Angel because that's kind of like his passion project. And you know, it came out. It was actually a really good movie. Kind of upset that we might never see a sequel for it because especially after the way it left off. But
I mean, don't they have like 9 books for Alita Battle Angel?
Yeah, but it's 2022. Who reads?
I'm just saying, like, shouldn't there also be a freaking sequel then?
well, it's James Cameron's passion project, and at the same time, that dude's just been apparently super fucking busy the last decade just on Avatar. I mean, originally we were supposed to get the filming for Avatar 2 and 3 finally began in 2017.
Don't believe
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, from what they yeah, right? And it's supposed to premiere. The second one's supposed to premiere in 2024, third one 2026, and the last one 2028. Fingers crossed. Who knows? I mean, but
No one gives a fuck about that movie. The only thing about that movie is it looked good. The story was literally
it was,
aliens,
it was
but
Dances with Wolves, but with aliens. If anyone's ever
yeah,
seen
I was
it.
gonna say
Dances with wolves. but-
Christopher Columbus coming to coming to North America and killing all the fucking Native Americans. Like that's all it is.
Well, have you seen Dances with Wolves, Brad? You've seen it, right, Billy?
Mhm.
So it's Kevin Costner, and he's playing as an American soldier. He's supposed to, you know, fix whatever fort he was sent to, and just like hold off in the meantime. And then he ends up meeting all the Native Americans, and he ends up becoming one of them or whatever. And it's pretty much just like Avatar. Like that whole story is pretty much just Dances with Wolves, but aliens,
Can you believe Dances with Wolves ripped off Avatar?
right?
Fuck, that's so messed up.
Can you imagine?
Did you guys ever see that Bill and Ted Face the Music? Supposedly
Oh,
that
that
was in
sounds
development
familiar.
hell.
At the very least, I've heard of it.
That's yeah, it's the newest Bill and Ted's movie
That's a sequel, yeah.
that came out in 2020.
I never watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Bogus Journey. So yeah, that first one was it? Bogus Journey was the first one, or was it Excellent Adventure?
I think it's Excellent Adventure. Excellent Adventure is 89.
Okay, yeah. So Bogus Journey came out in 91. It wasn't until 2010 that star Alex Winter first mentioned that Bill and Ted movie was in the works. In 2010, 10 years later.
It's wild.
Dallas Buyers Club. All right.
Matthew McConaughey is a gem.
He really is. You know what? He should play Harvey Dent.
It should be Harvey Dent.
He really should play Harvey Dent if they put that character into the sequels for Batman.
Now listen, you got two options, right? You got heads, right? You get to walk away. Now tails. You know where this is going, all right? And then flips the coin. All right. It just goes to black.
Well, have you seen his show, True Detective? I know I showed Billy like the first half of it when he came over.
That's his show.
Well, just
Is
that
he
first
like the main
season.
actor?
No, because every season is a different story and different main characters. But that first season was Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson.
And
Colin Farrell,
Colin Farrell's season 2.
Marshala Ali's in there.
That's season 3.
Our new Blade. So
Yep.
hold on. What? Okay, I have actually been interested in watching True Detective.
It is fucking amazing.
So
Good
it
show.
follows different stories then?
Yes, but they are sort of, kind of, very vaguely, as much as possible, kind of connecting the seasons together.
Like American Horror Story.
That would probably be like the best comparison for that.
There you go.
But yeah, that first season is just second to none, just amazing.
If you had to describe True Detective to me in like a couple sentences.
So, you know, the disgruntled cop with a really bad history and a partner that's supposed to be good but is actually a piece of shit. Like, it's the most
That trope.
basic, the most
The
basic
plot of Gotham.
the most basic plot, but the way they handle the story and the characters is just awesome. Like, it's the way storytelling in terms of crime movies / TV shows should be done, in my opinion.
Okay.
Plus, first season shows you Alexandria Daddario's titties.
Fine with me.
Um,
Man, like I said, if it starts at a 4, right? I don't know if you were in the Discord with this. If the show starts at a 4 out of 10 and you see some boobs, it automatically goes up to a 5.
yeah, right. Yeah, that first season was fucking awesome though. The second season, not so much. I mean, it's got a pretty good cast, but I personally never finished it. They had Vince Vaughn in it, of all fucking people, in there.
I saw that on the list.
And then season 3 was really, really good. It comes back to like its roots of season 1 with Mahershala Ali. Like, it is
That
really
man
cool.
just looks like a younger
Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see him as Blade. I hope
Same.
that's soon.
Well,
Not soon enough.
I think we talked about it where he was supposed to be for like the first time you see him, it's supposed to be in Moon Knight.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'm down for it.
And Moon Knight comes out this year, doesn't it?
Yeah, like October, I think.
Is it October?
Yeah, Marvel's Moon Knight reportedly includes an appearance
March 30th.
of Blade.
Let's say I thought it was sooner.
That's in 17 days.
Are you excited?
Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
dude. So
I'd say so.
The trailer looks cool as fuck.
they pushed back all the fucking DC movies, dude. Like, my god, DC movies.
Good. No one wants to watch DC.
Cause like, so this
Oh,
is
wants to watch Marvel.
this is the weird part too, because Flash was supposed to come out before Aquaman,
Yeah.
but now they're pushing the Flash back farther back than Aquaman. The Flash isn't supposed to come out till next summer now.
Interesting.
Which is going to be weird because they're using the Flash as a reboot to the DCU apparently.
Interesting.
So that's just going to
Oh.
be weird.
They're gonna flashpoint it.
Yeah, the first Flash movie, for some reason, I mean obviously they're trying to like fix the universe or whatever, but
Yeah.
the first Flash movie is going to be the Flashpoint.
Whatever. I mean, whatever they could do to retcon their bullshit, I guess.
Right. But it's just there was a reason why it was in this order, you know, it's supposed to come out before Aquaman. So now that's just weird that it's being pushed back. Even Black Adam is pushed back. Supposedly that movie was done. But all these movies we're supposed to get, I think we're supposed to get 3 or 4 movies this year. We're supposed to get Black Adam, The Flash, and then Aquaman, I think. But we were also supposed to get Shazam 2. I'm not sure when that was supposed to come out. But now they're just pushing everything back. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But whatever.
How'd you feel about Shazam?
I loved it.
I thought it was really fun. I enjoyed it.
So
I think that. Go ahead.
Did you see the movie, Billy? Shazam?
Yeah, I saw the movie.
So the director comes from a horror background. And
Oh, was that?
no, it's not Batman.
No. What's
He's the guy
What's
that
the
made the Lights Out movie, I think.
Gotcha. Okay.
The one with the light switch that originally started as a short.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. I have to fucking look it up. But
What do you want it?
shit.
Quoted. You are
Anyways,
live, sir.
So it was.
Anyways.
Quoted
It was
goated.
actually. They did really good with the monsters. The monsters actually looked terrifying in some scenes. And just thinking about that reminded me of Batman because even Brad in the very beginning asked me, "Is like, hey, is this a rated R movie or what?"
Well, they said fuck right away.
that, and then there was this mom that came with their 2 kids. They couldn't have been older than 6. They couldn't have. And they're like they're sitting right next to me, like a few seats down. And it starts off really dark. Like, I mean, the whole movie is dark and grudgy and edgy, but like it does not start off like how you would expect a Batman movie to, like how the Dark Knight starts off in daylight and stuff, and you see the Joker and all that. No. It starts off pretty fucking like dark and dirty, and just shows you the bad side right away of Gotham.
Right.
And like, I think they lasted for half the movie before they ended up leaving. But at one point, I remember hearing the kid, one of the kids was like, I think he was telling his sister to look away, and he'll tell her when to open her eyes. And I was just like, fuck, dude. This just reminds me of when Deadpool first came out. And like they did all the crazy marketing for it, like saying it's not a Valentine's movie, it's not your normal superhero movie. I can only imagine how many fucking stupid parents just brought their kids to watch that, and the first thing you see is Deadpool talking about like, wow, this isn't a romance movie. He's turning this dude into a human fucking kebab.
So that family ended up leaving early.
Yeah. Yeah,
and before it got pretty fucked up too. Like there were some scenes where I was like, damn, good thing those kids aren't here.
Oh, dude, no. Okay, so the very beginning, it was the very beginning. That's when Brad ended up asking about it, because it was it starts off, spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen it, but starts off with the Riddler looking through whatever lens across the street from a different building, looking at the mayor of Gotham, just, playing with his kid or whatever before the kid goes out trick-or-treating or some shit like that. I don't know. And then cut to later on in the night when it's just the mayor by himself in the apartment, and he's watching the news while talking on the phone, pacing back and forth. The only light that he's getting is from the TV. And in the background, right behind him, is just the Riddler standing still, just staring at him, while the dude's just like pacing back and forth. And then he just kills him. Like, he's just beating him down. Yeah. And like, you see a good chunk of that. And like, as soon as I see that, I'm just like, what the fuck did this mom just bring her kids to see?
Right.
like I didn't even expect this from a Batman movie. Like, I was expecting it to be dark, but not like that dark.
Not that dark.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Matt Reeves, he outdid himself with how dark this fucking movie was.
Jesus Christ.
But
They did an excellent job with the movie and making it, like Gotham's not supposed to be a friendly
nice
place,
place,
and
right.
they really show like, damn, Gotham is fucked up. So Billy, this takes a very real turn, where the Riddler goes on to like forums, asking like questions about things or whatever, and it's a bunch of like edgelords, talking about like, oh yeah, bring this caliber and this is how you make a detonator and all this shit. And you see that, and at the end of the movie is a bunch of like, guys with guns that help out the Riddler, and they're starting to shoot at a crowd of innocent people. And it's just like you would think of that shit with like the, you know, um, like the Columbine shooters or some shit. Like
Mhm.
you like there are people who think that they, are cool and they like look up to them and that kind of shit.
Super
And
realistic.
yeah, it got so fucking dark and so like real life realistic. It was nuts. They're
Yeah.
talking about like go to the army surplus store. This mask is over there. Like they all came wearing
Mhm.
the same masks.
Right.
Uh,
That yeah.
yeah,
I mean, this movie was just really good. Like it did not pull any punches on how the real world can actually be. And
right.
I fucking love it for it. I mean, I personally I think it's the best Batman movie to date.
Mhm.
I mean, you can compare it to all the other ones or whatever. You do you, but I think it's the best one so far. Um, the action, the storytelling, the way Batman actually is. Now, I do think that him playing Bruce Wayne is kind of lame. Because you always kind of compare it. Like Christian Bale was an awesome Bruce Wayne, but he was a
Yeah.
shitty Batman, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Ben Affleck, good Batman, shitty Bruce Wayne. And now Robert Pattinson,
I'd say
good
Ben
Batman.
Affleck looks like visibly looks like
Yeah,
the best
Bruce
best
Wayne.
Bruce Wayne,
Yeah,
but
yeah. I don't know. Hopefully they can change his look or whatever. I mean,
well, so one of the things right now, the reason why I'm okay with how he is portrayed as Bruce Wayne, he is still at the start of his this is his second year
yeah,
as
year two.
Batman. So this is still at the start because I think the Bruce Wayne that we're used to seeing uh
He's already
personifies
experienced.
billionaire. Well,
Mhm.
that but personifies the billionaire side of him, where he has to be a businessman and he's doing all these business things because he needs to keep his side funded and he gets information by being Bruce Wayne as well. He
Right.
gets his in by
Right.
being Bruce Wayne. So this him being a young guy, probably I would pin him what like 20s
Mm-hmm.
at this point.
Oh yeah.
Um, it's an early on Bruce Wayne, and he looks young. The whole like emo hair thing was kind of whatever, but um, I think we can see him grow into a better Bruce Wayne.
Oh, definitely. And again, spoilers, but you do get that at the end of the movie, where he realizes that Batman cannot just be a symbol of fear, and at the same time, he realized that the storyline was pretty much talking about Wayne Enterprises and his father's legacy and like all the crazy shit that happened in the back doors. Now he was avoiding every possible interaction with people from Wayne Enterprise the entire movie.
Yep.
But if he would have just, jumped in a little bit to look at it, it would have shown him like all that stuff that he finally realized at the end of the movie, which was his dad and Carmine Falcone and then some other stuff. But I mean,
So he talked about Alfred talked about um, his dad's legacy or his parents' legacy, and he said that this is my parents' legacy. And I think the end of the movie actually shows what his parents' legacy actually was. Him protecting those people and
yeah.
doing all that. That's what they really wanted. Um, Also, so I have one complaint about the movie, and just be nice to Alfred. Like, Alfred's your dad at this point. Be nice to Alfred. He raised you. Just tell him he's a good fucking dad.
I mean,
You
but
literally, Alfred goes into a fucking coma, and then he wakes up and he sees Bruce actually at his bedside, and he smiles. He's like, "Wow, my son's actually here." No, Bruce just goes, "Fuck you, Dad."
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, fuck you. You're not my dad, and you lied to me this whole time. I was like, hold on. Be like, hey, welcome back to the land of the living. Are you okay?
Right.
You know, not fuck you. Like, come on, man. So that, but also one thing I might have missed something, but you remember how he punched Gordon
Yes.
in the face? The next scene we see Batman with the cops, all the cops are chill with it. Because like he's walking out of a building with like something happened with the Penguin, or yeah, he walks out with the Penguin or whatever, or Falcone or whatever the fuck happened, right? And he walks out, and all these cops are cool with Batman. It's just like he just started a fake started a brawl in the middle of a jail cell with a cop. Like, did Gordon behind the scenes just say, "Guys, we're actually cool"? Like, no, I don't think he'd do that. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
That was just a weird plot hole, in my opinion.
yeah, and I can see where you're coming from on that part, but I didn't really care too much about that. I definitely see that though.
Look, man, I know cops,
I-
and I know if
I
you
know
punch
cops.
a cop, the other cops aren't
dad's
going to
a
be
cop.
fucking happy about it.
My dad wouldn't
dad's a
take that
knock.
shit.
My dad would beat your dad.
My dad would kick your dad's ass.
My dad is Batman.
I mean, overall, that movie was awesome. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And then for it being 3 hours, like, I am okay with the sequel being 3 hours as well, as long as the storytelling doesn't, suffer from it.
Mhm.
As long as I get those fucking queso fries again, dude, fuck yeah, I'm fine with it. I could get through a movie with some queso fries and that Dr. Pepper. That shit's so good.
You're
I
so
love that.
good.
I love that theater, dude.
We got to take Billy to that theater.
Hey, Billy,
Yeah,
come
if you
visit.
guys ever come out here.
Yeah,
we
the
won't.
theater's over there. Billy's. But yeah, I mean, if you guys don't have anything else to say,
Welcome to the Mere Nonsense podcast.
yeah, right. Welcome and goodbye to the Mere
Deuces.
Nonsense podcast. Deuces.
Episode, like, I don't know, 10, 15, 20, 25.
Something like that.